Hello, and welcome to today's show. I'm your host, J-Lo Sr. Before we get started, let's take a quick second to smash that like, share, and subscribe buttons. And subscribe to Pot of Coffee 12 on 3 on YouTube, X, and now on TikTok. Don't forget to hit that notification button also and let you know when I drop a new one. Now, speaking of new episodes, let's get into today's episode. Now, last night was the Super Bowl, but we're not talking about that. As you can see by the title of today's show, it's about the Cleveland Browns and why I think they won't make too many offseason moves in the quarterback room. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, the Sean Watson contract. Okay. Now, as you can see by what's on the screen here in a second, I'm trying to add it 1 second. There it is. Now, as you can see by what I got up on the screen, Deshaun Watson's base salary is not going to be the problem. The problem is going to be the salary cap hit of $80,716,514. Now, most would say, "Oh, 80 million. What's that? You know what I mean? That's what's that to a billionaire?" Yeah, okay. But see, what you're not forgetting, what you guys are forgetting is that's not what it is. Now, see, Deshaun Watson, his contract is set up in a way where that if you cut him before June 1st of 2026, you're going to have to pay him before the end of the year, the league year. You're going to have to pay him 131.1 million dollars. Okay, not the 80 million that you're on the books for. That's only 80 million if he is after June 1st. Like if you cut him after June 1st, that's what's on the books for. But pre June 1st is $131 million. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure don't want to pay that much money to somebody that's not even in the building helping my program. And what do I mean by being in the building helping my program if he's not my starting quarterback? Well, I mean by this mentoring the young fella, Shador Sanders. You know, everybody's talking about bringing in a veteran quarterback to stabilize the room. Well, Deshaun is a veteran quarterback. You got to remember, Deshaun Watson was in the MVP conversation prior to the allegations. Okay. Now, in these allegations, 23 of them, yes, as bad as they seemed, okay, he was found not guilty by not one, but two grand juries. Now, people might not look at that, but see, think about the grand jury is there's a running joke in the legal world is with a grand jury you can indict a ham sandwich because you control the narrative, you control all the evidence. The defense doesn't get up there and put on a defense or anything. It's just all the prosecutor, and you didn't even have enough money, enough evidence to move forward criminally. And then you're gonna get mad at him because he paid off these women to go away. He didn't pay them for silence. He paid them to just go away. Here, okay, it'll be cheaper for me to just give you this money and go. Now, not saying something might not have happened or something did happen or any of that because I wasn't there, so I don't know. I don't have a dog in a fight. But I'm talking if I was a billionaire. Now you got to remember a billionaire that went to this man's wedding. Okay, you gave this man the largest contract in NFL history. Okay, the Browns would be approximately like 15 to 20 million over the salary cap if they can fix the issues. But there's another issue, right? We're gonna bring up this one. Okay. The league salary cap is expected to be anywhere from $301 to $305 million in upcoming season, and the Browns need to restructure some contracts to help them, maximize that. Depending on how they get that done, there'll be between 15 to 19 million dollars of more available to them. Okay, but there's a big problem because the Browns have 5 contracts out there, big name contracts, and of course, Deshaun Watson being one of them. He has the largest issue is the $80 million. Okay, you got other players on this list. Their total doesn't come up to $80 million with Wyatt Teller, Joe Bitonio, and Myles Garrett. Yeah, that they don't come up to $80 million. So it's like you and then the thing about it is you might not even have those bottom 2 players on your roster, not just on your roster, but they may not even be in the league because they might retire this offseason. So if I'm the owner and the general manager or the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, and I know I need to get some more help on the offensive line or in the receiving room, I need to clear up money here so I can go after that big name left tackle or that big name receiver. Probably more likely a big name receiver than a big name left tackle or even a big name right tackle. Because if I can get one of the tackles taken care of, then because I need a left and a right tackle because I don't trust Dwan Jones, even as a right tackle. I might bump him inside to guard if I can get the right tackle from Indiana. I don't have that in my notes today, but he played with Shador in Colorado for a year, and then uh Khalil Benson. Okay. And I can throw him out there if I can get him in the 3rd round or later. I'm not spending a 7th pick on the 2nd round for him, but anything in the 3rd round or later, I might go get him, and that'll shore that up because I got a Whippler. He's got to be my center going in. Okay, he's got to be my center because I have nobody to start on my across the board. So he's got to be my number one priority is him. Then my left tackle is going to be either uh, uh, Thano or uh, the Polynesian brother. I can't Uliamayaga, I believe his name is. And if I butchered your names, brother, I'm sorry. I don't have you in my notes, so I can't try to work out your name. But I can picture you, but I can't picture your name. And I apologize. I will work on that. Okay. Um, but that's where I would go. And then I would try to go after a big time. And George Pickens is not him. I would go after a big body receiver. Okay. I don't know who that is. We'll on the next episode, which will probably be tomorrow. I know I'm gonna be going live, but then I live out in the woods, y'all, so my internet be janky sometimes, even though I have a great internet provider. It'd be janky sometimes because I live in the woods and I got a metal roof. Okay. So, but the Browns need a lot of help, and that's how I would start. Is I would try to this Batonio 20 million and Wyatt Teller 20 million. I would try to give them 10 million apiece upfront cash and give them the 10 million on the books. Okay, so that gives me 20 million I can go play with and go get me a right tackle. Huh? I can go get me a right tackle for 20. I can actually go get me 2 of them for 20. I can get me a tackle and a guard because my rookie draft class doesn't count in this draft cap. That's next year's draft cap. So I'll be winning, and then if I keep Deshaun Watson on the roster this whole season, then I don't owe him nothing after the end of next season. After the end of the season, because he'll be an unrestricted free agent, and I can just cut bait from him. Okay, so that's what I think the front office and Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry are trying to do, and I'll try to get a more thorough breakdown of what moves I think in the next show or two of what moves I think that the Browns should make first in free agency, then in the draft. Well, the combine comes up in 2 weeks, so I don't know how I want to do those shows. I know I have to do both of those shows coming up soon because it's the combine, free agency, then the draft. So the NFL is trying to make NFL the league is trying to make the NFL game season year round. You really have 2 weeks off if you're deep into the playoffs. 2 weeks to a month off if you're deep into the playoffs. You know, if you're the Super Bowl champion, you get 2 weeks off before you have to start right back up and woo woo. If you don't make the playoffs, you got a little bit longer time, but that's just the nature of the beast. So you have more time to figure out what you need to get there. Okay, but like the Jets and the Giants been working on their situation since week two of last season. No shots fired, but the Jets have been at the bottom of the barrel for a while, and I want to see I'm sorry, Aaron Glenn succeed there because I think he is the right man for the job. I don't think the New York media is going to put up with four more losses before he has four more wins. That's just my opinion. Okay. Now, I didn't want to get off into this. Yeah, I won't do it, but let's get back off to this. So, then you have Miles Garrett. Now, I'm not touching Miles Garrett's contract because I just extended him. You know what I'm saying? I might go to Denzel Ward and try to restructure something, give him a couple million in his pocket right now as a signing bonus to restructure this, and have him for another year or two. You know what I'm saying? But also, Miles has a no trade clause. Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So it's not like you can just trade them because they have to waive up, especially Deshaun. It's not like you can say, well, just trade them. You can't trade them because Deshaun can say, no, I don't want to do that. And Deshaun doesn't actually have to restructure his contract. Even if you want to give him more money, he might say, no, I want to wait it out and pay my structure the way it is. And then what are you? See, that's why the league didn't want that to happen. They frowned on the guarantee structure, the guarantee of the contract because you can't restructure it how you might normally be able to. Because the guy could say no, no. See, most people will say yes because they need a lump sum of money. Deshaun doesn't need a lump sum of money because you got to remember you gave him a lump sum when he signed, and now you're giving him 40 and 50 million and 60 million a year. So what does he need a lump sum for? He's getting like his wife said, and that's what I didn't like about you know when the hiring of Todd Monken. You know, young lady, Mrs. Watson, please, and Mr. Watson, please control that. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean handle that situation as love. Let's stay in our lane. That's not a business decision that you are able to make because you can't cash it the way you say, oh, we'll just sit over here and count this money no matter what happens in Cleveland. The things that you're implying with that post, ma'am, can be very detrimental to your husband's bank account, even though he has a guaranteed money. See, Deshaun wants to have another contract because Deshaun is only 29 years old. He wants to play till at least he's 35, and I believe he believes he can if he can come back from this Achilles. So let's pump the brakes on what we put out there, trying to flex, trying to boss, because you can hurt your hand in the long run. That's just some advice. Take it or leave it. I don't need no feedback and don't want it. Probably you didn't want my advice either, but I gave it, and so you probably give it back to me, and that's what it is. But that's just from an older gentleman looking out. Uh, there's people out there that got money, maybe not money, long money like you guys are getting, but there's people out there with longer money than you guys got. You don't have to flex it in that type of way because like I said, it could be perceived negative because it was more of a shot at the organization and what they're doing in the division because you might not be happy because your husband's not being the number one thing. Why are you worried about it? You're gonna get 46 million anyway. this year coming up. If he's the number one, number two, or number three, you're gonna get 46 million. If he's not on the roster, you're gonna get 80. And if it's before June 1, you're gonna get 131. So sometimes you just need to pump your brakes and slow down and just let it. And like you said, just let the money roll in and count it. But you don't have to. That's all. All right, y'all. Thanks again for joining me. I know this was just an espresso shot, a quick shot, little 15 minute. I I dive into these other two topics I was talking about here. I think I make moves at and free agency and in the draft. So I'm gonna dive into that. Hopefully, I can give it back to you tonight. If I can't get back to you tonight, it will be first thing tomorrow. With that, thanks again for coming into the podcast. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Y'all be safe. Peace.